the food co-op, specifically the Snow Isle Food Co-op. I call it a hippie grocery store, and I'm a hippie too, a proud one. It's literally the smallest grocery store around, but they probably have some of the best produce. This whole department, by the way, everything you see here, all has to be certified organic, which is really cool and very rare. I used to shop here a lot more, but I don't have as much time. So anyways, picking up a few things today here. I'm making sinigang. For those of you that aren't Filipino, it's a pork or shrimp stew of sorts, and you use bok choy, so I'm gonna get a whole bunch of this. I'm gonna get some eggplant. Another cool thing is all the produce here, for the most part, if they can, is local. So they do have things that are grown in Mexico, but for the most part, a lot of it is grown in Washington or even Oregon. Let's go for this fat one right there. One of the cool things about this grocery store is they have products that you can't really find in other places, like, well, first off, bicolor corn, that's cool, but they have these amazing figs. But look at these, have you seen these? These are kiwi berries. I've never eaten these before, but you can get them here. Because they're buying local, produce doesn't have to travel very far, so they can get things that maybe would be harder at a regular grocery store, but is easier to get to a local place like this co-op. One of my favorite things to buy here are these Japanese sweet yams. I thought they were called sweet potatoes, Japanese sweet potatoes. This is one of the most popular dishes that I make that people that watch my channel reference. I do a miso butter and I bake these and I put that miso butter on them. So delicious and so good for you. And the kids love it too, so it's a bonus. In our sinigang, we like to put tomatoes. There's something about the umami and the savoriness that comes out of these when you cook them that we like to have in the sinigang. So I'm gonna get these tomato on the vine. And again, all this is certified organic, which is really cool. Purple cauliflower. I've seen this before, but I've never tried it. Some of the fall fruit is coming out. Now I'm not sure if pomegranates is a fall thing, but I always see them come out in fall, at least here at this co-op. And also, weirdly, October, November, oranges also start coming out and tend to be sweeter and better. So the girls love oranges, so I'm gonna get a whole bunch of these. Now, as far as I know, I think you can get oranges literally all year long, but for whatever reason, the best oranges or citrus fruits here in Washington, we obviously don't grow citrus fruits here, but when they sell them, it's in November for whatever reason, October to about December. I'm not sure. If you are from an area where they grow oranges, let me know if that's true and why that is. Maybe it has to do with the different seasons in places like Florida or California. These oranges are actually from California. So as I mentioned, not everything is going to be local, especially the things that we don't grow here. We'll go through this whole bag in 2 days. Another fruit that I like to buy in October and November are pears. Apples come out here in Washington all summer long. There's some early apples, but the best ones, I would say August, September, October. But pears in the fall, awesome. And they usually have a good price on them. So these ones are $1.99, which this is what I'm gonna get. The thing about a pear is you should never put it in the fridge. You should let it ripen outside. We have a window sill. The sun doesn't hit it, and when these ripen at room temperature, they get so sweet and so good, almost like candy. I think so many people, they eat their pears when it's still hard. You want it to get soft, which seems obvious, but some people, I've seen them, they eat it when it's as hard as an apple. But pears, you want it to be, as you're squeezing it, soft enough for you to poke your finger in there. At that point, I would suggest putting it into a fridge to kind of stop the whole ripening process, but usually it doesn't even make it to the fridge because it's so good. So yeah, these are Danju pears, regular price $2.99, $1.99. I'm not sure if this is expensive compared to other grocery stores, but their pears here, wherever they get them from, these are grown in Washington. They're so delicious, I don't even question the price. The bananas are hung up on these hooks, which is really smart so that they don't bruise. This is the only grocery store that I've ever seen that does this, and it just makes total sense. And probably the reason they don't do it at other places is because the ceiling's usually way, way, way higher, but here it's a little bit lower. I should do this at home too. I'm gonna get some green ones as well because these will ripen probably in the next 3 days. The other bunch will go literally in the next 24 hours. We'll eat all those bananas right there. Each one of us probably eat 1 banana per day right now. I'm gonna grab a bag of yellow onions here.
kind of expensive, $5.99 each, but it's all good.
Ooh, sun golds. These are from Oregon, so I wonder if it's grown closer to California where it's a little warmer. Man, sun golds, if you ever get to buy them like this, super sweet. Also kind of expensive. These are $5.99 each, but similar to fruit, this is like candy. Okay, I'm gonna be that annoying guy that grubs from the bottom because these ones happen to look really good. If you've been following this vlog channel, you know that I've been looking for more and more deals as grocery prices get super expensive. When I'm here at this co-op, I usually don't worry so much about prices because number one, I don't come here very often, and two, the quality of their products is literally the best. My favorite place to shop in terms of certain ingredients. Like this right here, Bio Nature. Weird name for a pasta company, but they just changed their packaging up. They used to be like a blue package. They have the best lasagna. In fact, we noticed the difference compared to the organic brand at another grocery store, which I bought because it was on sale. Now, this is $4.49. The one that was on sale was $2.29, so definitely a way better price. But Judy said the lasagna was not as good, and I think it's literally because of the pasta, which kind of makes sense because same as rice, the better your pasta is, the better your dish is gonna taste. It's just most people don't think anything of it. I'm gonna grab 2 of these because that's how much lasagna we eat these days. What the? Kewpie found its way here, but not the real Kewpie. Kewpie's taken over, but for whatever reason, it's this Americanized Kewpie, not the Japanese Kewpie. I just found one of my favorite beef fats or beef tallows. So this beef tallow right here, this is normally 13 to 14 bucks a jar, which is kind of crazy. But if you know, beef tallow is way better for you, and especially if you're deep frying, not only is it gonna just be a healthier option than seed oils, and there's a lot of research on seed oils really aren't that good for you, so we don't use a lot of them at our house, but it deep fries so nicely. And this right now is less than 9 bucks, I think, so I'm gonna clear them out. This is the cool thing about this co-op. Once in a while, they do have really good sales like this, and always a surprise. One of the reasons they call it co-op is because it's co-operated and co-owned. This is gonna cost me $9 each, so it's a significant discount. I used to buy these and get them shipped to me, but it's so good, and the price is so good. It's funny, I just went on a rant how I said I don't really worry about price, but on these, because they're so expensive, I don't buy them as much anymore. I'm here for this discount. Speaking of deep frying, I just recently found out that deep frying with coconut oil is way better for you because I met somebody that was Guyanese at a wedding that I was at. In fact, the groom, his whole family is Guyanese, and so there was a lady sitting at our table at the day after event, and she said in Guyana, shout out to all my viewers in Guyana in South America, if I have any. And she said, you definitely need to deep fry with coconut oil, so I'm gonna totally try this. Now, Judy's not for it. Funny story, when Judy was pregnant with Juliana, I used to use coconut oil because I knew it was healthier, but it kind of turned her off, literally. It made her stomach turn, probably would still today. I thought, you know what? I should give it a whirl because I've always wanted to deep fry with it, and now that I deep fry outside, I can totally do it. And I think coconut oil, you can get it for pretty affordable, so I'm gonna try buying this and deep frying something one day. One of my favorite places to buy beer because they have such a great selection here, and they have a certain type of beer that I can only get here. Aslan Brewing. I'm always vlogging them when I'm here, so I apologize if I'm such a fanboy of this brewery, but really good. And they have the Japanese version. So this is a Japanese style lager. It's still brewed here in Washington, but yeah, they're trying to mimic the beers in Japan, and I love it. Also, bonus, all organic. I've done a whole rant about organic and not organic, and I don't always buy organic, and that includes beer. But if I can, I like to buy organic beer as a bonus. But the reason I like this beer isn't because it is organic, it's because it's just delicious. So Bellingham, Washington, if you're ever there, go to their brewery, Aslan Brewing. If somebody works there that watches it, hit me up. I would love to work with you guys because I really love your products. In Washington, we're known for very hoppy beers, hence the IPAs. They have Hazy IPA, India Pale Ale, so that's obviously IPA, and then this Monarch India Pale Ale. I'm not sure what that means, but Yeah, really heavy. I mean, these will get you tipsy pretty quickly. I personally prefer the lagers, so this is a light lager, kind of, I would say, like a Bud Light, but of course craft brewery and organic, so it's cool. This is a local brand that I just heard isn't made here. I think it's made in California, but yeah, we're known for Rainier beer, which is pretty good. Gonna get at least a dozen of our favorite eggs. Vital Farms, one of our favorite eggs. Try to get the freshest ones, of course. Yeah. Of course, check your eggs. Oh, got some variations in the eggshell colors, which I've learned doesn't really matter. I know back in the day I used to think it, but yeah, whether it's white, tan, dark brown, they're still gonna be delicious and still gonna be very healthy for you. Even the egg yolk colors, I heard, it's not as big of a deal. In Japan, I just recently saw very white yolk eggs from a farm that's really well known and it's like high quality and healthy, but they're white yolks. Loading up. It's gonna be an expensive trip. Okay, so I don't buy this often, but they do have it here. It's hard to find at other grocery stores. Powdered maple sugar. Maple syrup, I think, cooked down where it turns into a powder, so. Now this is really expensive, but I like putting it into Judy's coffee. And the reason I like this compared to using maple syrup, because I do use maple syrup sometimes for coffees, is when I'm doing the latte art, I like to put this on the top of the espresso shot when I pour in the steamed milk. It stays on the top of her drink, so then when she sips her latte or her macchiato, because she prefers those, you get a little bit of that maple sugar on the top of your foam, and it's pretty awesome. So definitely try this. It's kind of a treat if you're gonna buy it because it is so expensive, but totally worth it. Besides this, I do use maple syrup quite a bit, and more I'm trying to replace all my sugar with either maple syrup or honey, just because it's way healthier for you. Something else I stock up on is bone broth. This is the go-to one, bona fide, really good. And always have this in my freezer whenever I'm making any kind of soup, so it's easy. I do make my own, but you know, for convenience, it's nice buying this. But today, I'm also gonna buy this. One of the other things I like is finding these local companies, and this one is called Kersop Farm, where they're based out of Rochester, Washington. I've never even heard of that city, but yeah, they make bone broth, chicken bone broth, and it's a pretty good price. So I got the maple sugar. Oh, gotta get popcorn, bananas, bok choy, green beans, eggplant, tomatoes, onions, beer, daikon, eggs. Oh, tofu too. So tofu and popcorn. Okay, something that I used to get here is red popcorn kernels. It's been so hard to find just the red popcorn kernels. It's always mixed with the yellow ones. So these days I just buy the yellow ones because I use this for popping popcorn. If you have the variation in types, sometimes it's uneven popping. So yeah, this is where I get my popcorn at. As you can see, they have a lot of things in bulk, including this popcorn. One of the best things to get here, honestly, is spices. Spices are really expensive, and sometimes you only need a very little bit. So whenever I'm doing a new dish where I don't have a lot of that spice, I always get the spices from here, but I was saying how their produce is the best. Same with their bulk items as well. The girls love their popcorn. Last but not least, tofu. We've got a whole bunch of pork that we need to use up, and Judy sometimes likes stir frying the tofu with that. Last thing I'm gonna get are these Honey Crisp apples. They're on sale. I love that. You know, back in the day we loved Fuji apples, but Honey Crisp is where it's at. The only problem is it can be super expensive. I think it's worth the price if you're gonna only eat one, you know, to snack on, but especially with us, we juice these. We have a lot of girls that love their apples, so whenever these are on sale, I totally try to get these. It's funny how Fuji's have really kind of fallen in terms of their quality. Their flavor is totally different. I should have tried a Fuji apple in Japan because I think Fuji apples are from Japan originally. I don't know for sure, but it sounds Japanese, obviously Fuji, so Honey Crisp our favorite. All right, so I'm back at home. I didn't vlog because it was so busy after I got those apples. They're in that tiny little grocery store. If you ever go to a co-op, go check it out. Go explore. They have different products than you would get in a regular grocery store. You know, I do a lot of vlogs about food, about shopping for food, anything related to that topic. What are some recipes
some video ideas or vlog ideas you have for me that you want to see on this channel. Subscribe if you're a food lover, because I love sharing my passion for food, and I love hearing from you guys who also love food. I think it's universal. Everybody loves food, but we love food a little extra on this channel. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.